Welcome back to Refrain Chord. So, alright, let's continue into the Fatamefu Plains. A Muse's Power.
Alright.
There's that damn furry.
Furry. Where the hell is that furry?
It's never gonna catch on as furry. We're not that depraved. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
A radar.
If they were, it'd break this game's plot in half.
Not necessarily, but I digress.
I mean, it would explain why Glace has managed to find them so many at this point.
Yeah, remember, muses are like a whole new factor added, so if they could track the Furies, that could add an interesting layer, but apparently that's not the case.
Why do you need that, Erin?
Remember, as the game puts it, she's a girly girl. So she has those traditional traits. Oh, I want to make my hair look pretty and shit like that.
Guess there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, sure. Don't do it. Don't do it, Aaron, please. Yeah, exactly.
My god! You actually managed to do that without bickering amongst yourselves.
I thought they'd be calling Fanga Funny Duddy or something.
Yeah, no, like, maybe they're learning finally. Although, from what Pedro has told me, apparently a lot of the characters are a bit neutered in how...
You remember that line, like, we're friends, right, bro? Reminds me of one of my favorite jokes from Roger and Alex's Shadow the Hedgehog parody. Cream hasn't found... from Shadow the Hedgehog. I can't find Cream. Please, my friend, help me. Friends? We talked to each other twice.
You know, the ironic thing is that Amy was actually the one who convinces Shadow in Sonic Adventure 2, but outside of that, she probably has... Oh, crap.
Oh, shucks.
Now I will use my powers to just screw up all your minds and make you kill each other.
Basically.
So, the Sherman can spend most of this game brainwashed.
No fucking shit, Marissa. No fucking shit. Really? Think so?
So, like I asked, is Sherman gonna spend pretty much most of the plot brainwashed?
No. Don't worry. We'll soon break him out of his stupor, and he'll be good for the rest of the game.
To be fair, I guess that makes more sense than having him as playable for, like, just one chapter or so.
People die when they're killed, and water is
Of
wet.
course.
Like Jova usually said.
It's a quote from Fate.
It makes sense in context, but context is for the weak. He's just that powerful!
Sing, Fleur! Sing! What is this, a shonen? What is this, a shonen anime now?
I mean, why not?
Yay, Nuts of Faith.
Just hope, is there a fairy like her where if she sings she blows up the world or something? It's like
No.
it's like in that recent One Piece movie, singing the evil song of doom nearly destroys the whole world.
Alright, let's fight Sherman.
Get up, get out there.
What's that Sonic product where he says I'm gonna beat the evil out of you?
Is that Sonic and the Secret Rings?
Maybe it's a comic, I think.
I forget.
Let me check.
Yeah, defeat all enemies.
Also, rabbit enemies too, why not?
Indeed.
Huge, as well as buzz bombers.
Alright, with Fleur, let's, we'll just use Nuts of Faith. Well, I'll show off some of her songs later.
Yeah,
Obviously.
similar to Azure Striker Gunvolt, it seems like, well, she has different songs for different effects, essentially.
Yeah, this particular one raises your physical attack.
I don't mind this as a mechanic, it's pretty cool.
Sure, I don't mind either.
Boy, Beam is just the go-to move, isn't it?
The goat.
Well, that's the thing, Jova. Yes. When I use my all items cheat from into my save file from Save Wizard, it gave me every item, including item abilities, and I after scrolling for all of these, I found this ability called Beam, and yeah, it's basically the only real problem is of course because of the RNG, because I don't like the RNG in this game, where there's way too many. There's certain times where I'm fighting in this game where I'm not kidding you, an enemy will guard / dodge / miss the attack like 3 times in a row, and it kind of gets annoying and ridiculous, you know.
And there's like no game mechanic to counteract that.
Not really, not that I'm aware of, at least. Not that the game told me, at least. But so it can get really annoying, especially because while the RNG while the RNG can also work in that way towards my favor as well. From my experience from playing this game multiple times, the RNG seems definitely much more biased against me rather than for me, to be honest with you.
Ideally, with a system like that, there should be like parameters put into place.
Yeah,
that
I'm pretty sure that
how
they
often-
are. It's just that I haven't played the game myself, so I cannot tell for
No,
what's been shown.
Don't worry, Tail. Someday when this thing gets on sale for only $10, I'll buy this one for you too.
I am honestly surprised it's not already at that point, because again, from
No,
what I've heard,
Idea Factory, products, when they get on sale, it's relatively tepid, tepid. It's present, but not as much as you would hope. Again, it's weird.
It depends on how old the game is. Like, this game is recent. This game is only a year old at this point, even maybe less than that. So obviously, so far the sales that I've found were sales where it decreased from $49.99 to $29.99, right? But don't worry, I'm sure eventually when this game is only like 5 years old, there'll be a sale where it's only like $10, most likely.
Usually Bandai Namco products will get on huge discounts very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it kind of makes sense, because I guess they
A lot
didn't
of them,
spend-
also a lot of them are licensed titles, so they want to get as many copies out there as possible too.
Yeah.
When it comes to Idea Factory, I guess they don't spend too much on their games, so they can afford to keep them up at a
Yeah,
relatively-
it's because that's their overall business strategy. They keep their games wee-ish in production values, but still sell them at full price to basically make a lot of money. And yeah, like I said, I actually had a conversation about this with Till actually when he was streaming a game for me last time, where I wouldn't be as hard on the production values of these games if the games were not full priced. That's my main thing. If the games were only $40, then I would be a bit more forgiving to the visuals. But if you're gonna sell me a full priced game, I expect the money to be shown on screen. Go ahead, Joma.
Or at the very least, it needs to have enough length of content to really do that. Because okay,
Which this game does not have, by the way. Go on.
yeah, like okay. So my parameters for a game being full price are that, well, okay, it doesn't need to be like super prim and proper with the graphics to the point where they pumped all the money into that. But at the very least, it should look decent enough for the gen. Or at the very least have a style.
Behold this shot of that low-res grass.
Literally right as I was talking about the graphics game, but I digress.
Tiny.
Anyway,
Like, it should at least look decent enough and have enough content of length
Yeah.
to its name.
That's why I don't have a problem with Ni no Kuni 2 having the sync model of voice acting of their handheld games, because the visuals still look fantastic and the game is chock full of content, chock full of it, and really high quality content all around. So honestly, it becomes really hard for me to I will definitely argue that game justifies its $60 price tag, honestly. Go on.
Alright, we got Sherman back. when it comes to Ni no Kuni 2, I'm fine with how they do the voice acting. My only issue is that sometimes it's a little too random with where they'll voice act or not, but I digress. We can talk more about that later. But yeah, we got Sherman back.
Hooray.
And right before the point where we're supposed to get Ethel back, since
Where did Glace went?
Yeah, and in
she's still there, isn't she?
no, I don't think she is. No, she usually goes away when we defeat the main guy that she's partnered with. Usually, not too much. I think it's a shadow version. Was it a shadow version? I forgot to check if it was
I
a shadow
didn't
version.
pay attention.
Oh no, there she
Oh,
is.
there she is.
But that's precisely the reason why I should keep attacking you.
Well, she
though.
remember she's a muse, so she doesn't really have much in terms of attacking power. So
And then I'll get stabbed on a... Oh, he was unawares.
no, you're thinking
Just trying to make a cool face.
you're thinking of Bernard. It's usually Bernard who gets stabbed at randomly.
Despite being the Sephiroth wannabe, he's the one who gets stabbed.
Yeah, this is the other thing I have to say about this game. In fact, I actually recorded the part just today. Actually, that is probably the worst example of what I'm about to talk about. While the side content of this game is very slow in its pacing, the main story is the opposite problem for me, where a lot of times plot threads come in and they leave way too quickly to leave any kind of impact. Like I said, the whole brainwashing thing where, oh, why is Zenki part of our party now, like thing, right? That didn't last as long as it should have, for the sake of trying to milk as much potential out of this idea as you could. Now this idea of Sherman being brainwashed into the side of evil once again gets abandoned right after, so we don't really do anything with it. My problem with the pacing of the main story is that things go by way too quickly, and as a result they leave no impact because you cannot really, they leave way too abruptly, basically.
I mean, I guess to be fair, Sherman didn't even really speak much to his brainwash, so it seems like they pretty much did all they had planned to do with him being brainwashed.
Trust me, Joe, I'll have an even better example later on.
I guess I'm just not too sure about it because for the most part when it comes to these things, it seems like the game has more or less run its course. Now, that could be considered an issue with the game's writing in and of itself, but I guess so far the pacing of the main story hasn't felt too particularly rushed to me. Granted, we are making side quest stuff. So, you lost one of our brainwashees. That was totally part of the plan, right?
I guess it was just expandable.
Okay, Bernard, what is Glace bringing to the table that has you this confident in her?
We're actually about to explain that, if I remember correctly. I don't see nothing.
Relax, this isn't Kingdom
Yeah,
Hearts.
yeah. You notice that Marianna was like, oh, and the child was involved too. So they're talking about something horrific that's happening at Dorfa, but we don't know what it is yet. Let's just say it is going to lead into something that I have to really question the way they handle Marianna's character in this game. But again, I can talk about it later. Yeah, there you go. No. Now that she said, yeah,
Okay.
to a child, no
So
less.
Go
ahead.
So they do emphasize Marianna's thing where, for as evil as she appeared,
Yeah.
she was legit about how she felt about the kids.
That is true, but I'll talk about that later. In the meantime, yeah, Zenk is still a psychopath.
He's just amused.
Damn, apparently this thing is so horrendous that even Zenke is kind of taken aback.
He's already here.
What time are you
Oh
guys at?
boy.
14, 27, 28, 29.
Jesus Christ, am I behind? How does this even happen? 14:42.
Alright, we'll count you in.
Alright, and click.
Cheers.
You're a family and pointing him a laugh.
Family is overrated.
What horrendous thing could Glace have done?
I mean, it involves children, so I'm not sure I want to know.
Oh, hello. What Peter Pan anime did you step out of, son?
Actually, it reminds me more of Magi, Labyrinth of Magic.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I've seen box art on Blu-rays of it, but I've never seen it.
Damn.
So, child super soldier.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
As the red flashes show,
It's for a god.
he even has a god complex like Sephiroth.
Well, that was already a case in
Remember,
the original game.
He believed himself to be a descendant of a Val God and wanted to aspire to.
Well,
the
not
power.
believe, he is a descendant of the Wild God.
Okay.
It's both him and Tiara too. Chapter 5,
Let me
Where Your
guess,
Heart
that-
Is.
I got the memory that it was usurped
Yeah,
by
it's not-
Sherman because. Sorry,
We're
go
just
on.
blowing through these chapters, aren't we? We're already at chapter 5
Well-
out of 25.
Let me guess, that kid's gonna be a party member later, isn't he?
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Check his pulse.
Check
his pulse.
Idiot!
check his
Oh,
pulse.
yeah, I forgot.
Check his pulse, Joey.
Yeah, oh yeah, that bit. I think in the Japanese version, he's like,
I don't know what they say in the Japanese version, but even in the original 4Kids episode, what happens is Kaiba throws Joey to the ground, and Bakura's like, check his pulse. No, wait, not Joey. He throws Yugi to the ground, and check his pulse, Joey. But Bakura asks, well, like, check his pulse, Joey. Okay, there's no need to check his pulse. He just fell to the ground.
Yeah, the
Bakura.
problem with that translation, Glimpse, is that it's over going for what the scene is going for.
I have to say, I'm still surprised that 4Kids actually were bothering at some point to make uncut versions of proper translations for that series.
It was just the first 9 episodes, so.
An experiment for the whole market.
Again, and they were overly literal.
Yeah.
And I still haven't seen a clip where one of the characters swear, damn it.
Really? How have you not? I recall them swearing quite a bit.
Oh, how convenient.
I've not come across
What this basically means is that we're gonna have to do one more chapter before Sherman joins the party.
Recovers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of what happened with Galdo in one route, if I remember correctly.
Well, actually, there's actually
guess-
one of the routes where Galdo outright dies. That's the thing.
No. There is one route where, okay, the evil goddess route he survives, but if I recall correctly, he's incapacitated completely. But someone, if I remember correctly, also in the first game, in Advent Dark Force, in one of the routes, goes into the hospital and after a while recovers.
I think that's the evil goddess route where he's evil, but then gets better
No,
at the
but
hospital.
it's not playable because he only at the end, he gets back.
Oh, okay. In that case, you might be talking about the original goddess route, I think, where he was incapacitated.
Maybe not even Galdo, someone, that's what I mean, someone in the game.
Someone.
Again, I apologize, audience.
Someone.
I'm not the expert on Fairy Friends Ref Heaven Dark Force that Sensei Pedro is. Only I could aspire to be familiar with this world.
Let me put it this way. It's really my opinion. Okay, basically, here's the basic idea. If I remember correctly, it's specifically in the route where we have to go inside of Val God, but I forgot which. Okay,
Wow, Ali's actually calling out Sherman for being bipolar.
Yeah. I think I remember. I think I just remembered it. What
I was
happened?
actually giving a...
I think I just remembered. In the Val God route is where Galdo dies. In the Evil Goddess route, it's like Teo said, he's incapacitated. So there you go.
But yeah, no, Teo mentioned, Al is actually pointing out a potential reason for why Sherman was the way he was in the original game, essentially. I mean, bipolar reality, but in story, basically the light and darkness in his heart are constantly in flux.
Yeah, that's basically the point.
I mean, you know what? Fair enough. Addressing why Sherman was kind of all over the place character-wise in Evan Dark versus...
Probably because he was attacking us, Aaron.
Oh my god. Get out of a room, you two. This is a hospital.
We did not need this extra part of the scene.
Shifting the blame.
Book shifting, yay!
Book shifting?
Books, you know, as in passing the book on to somebody else.
Oh, buck. Okay, it sounded like you said book.
Oh yeah, because Q is not biased on this matter at all, is he?
That's a good question. No, seriously, do it again! Harder, Daddy! Harder!
This is a hospital. Go away. I swear, the only reason I'm not genuinely pissed off at this is because they had the decency to not make a joke about abuse, misusing wheelchairs. I am pretty sure the only reason we don't do that is because we don't have, the capacity to animate that.
Yeah, guys?
Oh,
Yeah,
apparently the nurse
is
agrees
looking
with you, Tio.
I mean, yeah.
There you go. The game recognizes.
Like
contributions
that moment
there, Tio.
with Michael Rosen. Out!
Alright, so with that out of the way. Oh, look at that. It looks like Guillermo's pub is finally here. Guillermo, unlike the original game, he will not be giving us any lore. He's just here for the sake of the quests, and that's it.
I'm in the game. Bye.
Yeah, this game really... Okay, yeah, this is definitely about... play this game if you've played Advent Dark Force.
Yes, minor voice clips, but it's just, standard.
Yeah, you see, hey, by the way, Idea Factor International, if you're not going to give this game an English dub, could you at the very least subtitle those audio clips? Because I don't know, I don't know Japanese. Well, those clips were not subtitled in the original Japanese version. Okay, again, this is another reason why you still should have bothered. Okay, if you can't get Raid Chase anymore because Raid Chase is now actually popular and has far better things than being in your games, fine. At least recast Bajos then, because I genuinely think we should have still had an English dub for this thing, though.
I mean,
again,
doubt it was just because of Raid Chase not coming back.
It's not even that. Most of the voice actors involved, I can tell you, probably would have had no problem. I get the idea this was either, again, to save cost, or because logistics, or a combination of them. Because again, it's also unprecedented for for an imported compiled game. This really did not happen beforehand.
Like, if I recall correctly, when
see.
the actors replayed this game, sure, they maybe took the piss out of it, but I
genuinely enjoyed this time, and I can tell you for a fact that Kira Buckland has no problem getting back to her older roles, as showcased in Honey Pop. So,
like, honestly, for as much shade as we threw at the game, I don't recall the actors having any bad feelings about it for the most part.
Oh no, sure, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm directing this at Idea Factory themselves because it's abundantly clear to me that this was a cost-saving measure. That's what because, like I said, this game, even the game itself, regardless of its English dub, is even cheaper made than the original game, which is saying something.
I do agree that they probably left out the English dubbing to save costs. Like, now, I guess it is nice that they still translated stuff here, but
Well, that's just text. I'm not exactly going to applaud them for just translating text, so, because that doesn't
Apparently
Could you
it's-
I mean, I'm gonna applaud them for being restrained of not going too far, but sure.
Like, I
Could
mean,
you-
that's the
could-
thing. That's the thing. You'd be surprised how apparently it's so hard for companies to even be bothered to just subtitle or translate stuff to bring it overseas, with or without the English voice acting.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
was gonna say, could you imagine if they didn't even bother translating the games?
In
You
fact-
get it in Japanese, or you get nothing.
In fact, going back to the budget.
Didn't we got some virtual console titles on the Nintendo Switch with that kind of thought process?
None that were available.
It was in the same batch that gave us the Quest for Camelot Game Boy Color game.
Oh,
I
that.
don't remember which titles were.
Well, did that game even have voice acting? I'm pretty sure it doesn't apply
I'm
here.
talking about the text translation, like you guys just
Yeah,
said.
text translation. Well, that's sure. I think.
Also, you want a new target. Technically, Konami, the copy of Getsu Fumaden that is actually packaged with the new title. Okay, then with the new title, I hear an echo.
Guys, mute yourself,
Yeah, I hear it
please.
too.
The Getsu Fumaden copy that gets packaged with the new game that got released recently is still using the original Japanese Famicom ROM. It only has the menu, if I recall correctly, in English.
In the meantime, to recap, basically, we're just trying to find.
We made Fleur eat gum.
Yeah, basically.
What kind of gum, I wonder? If it's like apple flavor, at least, then fair enough.
I prefer mint.
Basically, we're gonna bring back flowers for Sherman.
Yeah, basically.
And then when they get back,
Oh!
Hey, yeah.
In the meantime, Ethel and Zenki are watching us.
Okay, if I recall correctly, Ethel was eventually able to say other words to
Yes.
kill.
Yes. Later on.
But we're probably here too.
Let's just say, Jova, the way they handle Ethel's character arc in this game is pretty weak.
That's weird because she was actually had one of the better character arcs in the original.
Let put it this way, Jova. Here's how, and don't get me wrong, it's the same thing. So me saying it doesn't spoil you. It's the same thing. Here's what happens. You know how in the original game we actually had to convince her with cookies and everything, and actually properly talk things out with her before she joined our party. In here, Fang she shows little to no resistance in joining us because Fang basically just does it, and they just oh, you mean we can just go with you and not fight? Yeah, exactly. And after that, that's it. Like, she immediately starts getting incredibly accustomed to everybody and doesn't really. There's not really anything. Again, the nice heartfelt moments that she had in the original game are removed. For all intents and purposes, really. Like, it's basically a super abridged version.
I haven't seen the rest of the game, but I know that she has some kind of relation with another of the new characters we haven't seen yet.
Okay, yeah, because if I recall correctly, Ethel was kind of a child super soldier taken from her home.
Oh, you
She
don't know that yet,
she technically does something in common with one of the new party members for this game, yes, but that's way later in the plot.
Okay, like, I assume that child we saw is, like, again, some tortured
No,
child.
it's
Again,
not that, Jova. I'm talking about something else entirely. But again, we're not there yet, so
Fair
let's
enough.
just focus on the present.
So basically, once again, visiting Sherman. I actually have another thing to say about the budget, actually. See, here's the other thing, by the way. You know another thing that Compile Heart could do to try to justify the full price tag, by the way? Stop cheapening out on your English dubs. Because one problem I have with Compile Heart's English dubs, not the voice actors. The voice actors and the voice direction is usually really good, so I have no problems with that. My problem is the amount of voice acting. See, because the Japanese voice track on their games usually covers the entirety, and I do mean the entirety of the main story stuff, and most of the side stuff. So most of the game, in fact, you can see it in this game. Most of this game is fully voiced, right? Okay, let me use the original Avant Dark Force. Let me use Avant Dark Force as an example, right? Avant Dark Force, to its credit, does have a good amount of voice acting, specifically for the main story stuff. But none of the side stuff is voiced. If you put in the Japanese audio, most of the skits are also voiced, including the one where Ollie rapes Loa, the one that we all screamed about in part 37, right?
You needed to remind us about that.
Well, it's there, it's immortalized on the channel, so it's not gonna go away. Sorry, guys. The point is... but if you take a look at most of their games, the voice acting in their games... for example, I tried out a bit of Dragonstar Varner, for example, to give you an idea. And there's a distinct, very small number of voice-acted scenes in the English track compared to the Japanese audio track. So even when they do an English dub, they only voice act like at best half of the game in comparison to the Japanese voices. So okay.
Let me hear what Sherman has to say about Dorfa.
Go ahead.
So he remembers what he heard while brainwashed.
Yes.
I guess it's convenient enough.
Can you be a bit more specific? Okay, so you're useless.
Fair enough. Oh, hold on. Accept this.
What?
Oh, snap. Okay, that's... If I recall correctly, that wasn't their plan in the original.
No,
their plan was to make sure to get to the point where Bernard could become the wild god.
Yeah, in here they have a different plan.
Oh, shoot.
I guess that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, nobody respects the sanctity of this hospital, do they?
Seriously.
Unless Senke killed the nurse on his way.
I guess we
in.
truly are in America or something. Badum.
America if it were run by fairies.
Again, that's the punchline. You still don't get a good healthcare system.
In fact, the healthcare system actually seems worse.
Maybe we could get Owl to be the new president.
President Owl, whatever his last name.
But yeah, like I was saying, just to finish my point. Again, Compile Hard, if you want to keep selling these games at full price, at least bother to put the exact same amount of effort into the English dub as you do the Japanese dub, please, if you don't mind.
Stop being amused, Al.
Everything seems to amuse this man.
I'll be imagining now if Agent 47 just walked around talking in riddles and he just had Diana right next to him translating it. Even when he's just shot somebody, he has to translate his death. He has to translate basically what he's saying is if you're dying right now or something.
Mm-hmm. Of course you don't.
But yeah, you're teaming up with the wrong people, Ethel. They're gonna lead you down a dark path in life.
We'll get to that, Jova.
That was just a big fan of Kill la Kill.
Yeah, you already made that joke in the original run. This
game likes to repeat some things, so I'm gonna do it too.
Sure. I guess it's part of our budget cuts. We can't really pay Dwebs for him coming up with new jokes. So
wait,
he'll just reuse the same ones.
Wait, you don't know how to live? I don't know how to live either. We should be friends.
Would it shock you much, Joey, if I told you that's basically how it goes when we actually recruit Ethel?
Okay, I'll wait to see the execution.
What? What? Get being killed by Ethel?
No.
Yeah. Not that kind of execution.
And now guess what?
What? Does that
What?
I'm not in the mood to kill him.
Then what was then why did you even come here, you idiot?
Why?
This is literally that same joke.
Okay, I guess that there's a reason for why he suddenly is getting...
To be fair, Joe, the only reason I can think of is because, being true egoist, feeling free to...
There's no specific reason, Jova. He just does whatever he feels like at the moment.
Truly, a disciples Turner.
My best guess would be that for him, the mood has been ruined now, since Zenke seems to always want to be in the right exact mood, even when it comes to killing. Should we maybe take this outside though? For hospital sake?
Yeah, not in the hospital.
Don't worry, Tail.
I
We'll
mean, at least we don't have to. I mean, at least we don't have to go far to the mortuary.
don't worry, Tail. We'll take this outside. There you go. See?
Yeah, again, Fang has been consistently the voice of reason recently.
Yeah, like, again, I guess kudos to the writers. Like, sure, he's had a few jerk-ass moments, but for the most part, he's been on much better behavior than he was for... Well, okay, I guess, to be fair, this is technically at a later part in the original
Also, excuse
story.
to not have Harley playable yet.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. Don't worry. Show some people. But no, that's the thing. Like, Zenki's sudden shift in mood is just like Eggman in Roger's Lost World parody. Like, I'm gonna rip out your black cards, and then actually I lost interest. There you go.
I think the problem with that one was that, you know, it didn't really fit a character like Eggman to have these kind of mood swings. Well, Zenki truly is a psychopath through and through, so yeah, again, it's similar to stuff people like Kefka. I can't believe it's a case of, you know, suddenly, you know, not wanting to kill someone because, you know, they really don't feel like it and what gonna do later. And
Alright, so
We're really gonna go to a place on the map just to have this fight with Ethel.
yes.
it's a DBZ logic, Trevor.
Well, Tail, I'd rather have that than fight in the hospital. So
Obviously.
Well, it's good that we have all this.
yeah, I'm going to start skipping these because fuck these moments. Like,
Except for you, Lola. Oh no, even Lola got.
well, no, every single bit with Lola in that bit job is just copy pasted. We've read that already. So
Oh, let me guess. Thank you for your
showcased also.
patronage. Here's
Yeah,
where
it was
Fury
showcased
is.
in the
oh,
first,
hold on. All right, Dwebs, you be peppin'. Go ahead.
Hold up, just a minute, young man. I can tell you're a premier fencer. Will you hear my plea?
Huh? And what are you? Some kind of stuffed animal? Are you related to the Tsuchinoko?
Not even close, fan. The Tsuchinoko is supposed to be a snake.
Oh, so you will listen. Thank you.
Wait, no, I didn't say that. Don't go thanking me like that.
I'm just trying to do what Christina V did last time.
Sure.
Well, this is not Pippin, though, but
Yeah,
go
that's
on.
Pepin.
Ah, it's
I'm a
okay.
local miner. I go by the name Pepin. I'm here looking to find a vein of ore to dig for minerals, and I could use your help.
Tail, there's no voice acting for this guy in the game anyway, so might as well have Dwebs improvise.
There's gold in them fairies? I don't know.
Yeah.
The best way to find a vein of ore is to put a fury in the ground to search for it, but I unfortunately don't have a fury.
So there you go. This game has its own version of location shaping. We'll talk about it in a moment.
I could use your help. I don't expect you to do it for free either.
Huh?
So let me guess.
Why don't you
we
leave
give
with
him
that?
Furies.
I'd listen to anything if you pay me.
Let me guess. We give him Furies. He like builds the road to new locations.
Nope.
I finally got your attention, eh?
You'll see in a moment. You knew I wasn't paying attention and you kept talking anyway?
What a dastard.
Putting a fury into the ground stimulates it, helping you find the vein of ore.
Wait a minute, Mr. Pepin. You mean to tell me that the Earth is alive? That it has a spirit? That's a fairy tale.
Okay, so I'm-
for vein of ore along the way, just purple to items you can process through this stuff.
I'm guessing this will be the mechanical reason to find Fury, since, as far as I know, the whole goddess and
Remember,
evil
Joe, we don't
god-
have dungeons.
Yeah, hold on. We'll explain it in a moment.
I'll give it all to you. I've got no need for that stuff, but I bet you do, eh? This is what I like to call a win-win. So how about it? Help me out?
I just got one question. Am I gonna get the Fury back? Yes, you will. Based on...
No. Of course. The Furies are yours, aren't they?
Huh. A genuinely nice NPC.
Well, that's how the location shaping worked in the original game too, so...
Help me find the vein of ore and walk away with some powerful items.
I don't
You?
recall this guy being a thing in the original.
No, this is a new character. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. I'll take you up on it. Also, those eyes.
Ho ho ho! So you'll help me? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay then.
Now, this technique of stepping a fury into the ground is called location shaping. Here's how you do it.
Here's a helpful tip. Pressing the X button to swing a light attack.
Alright, so here it is. So here's what location shaping is all about. In the original game, if you remember, this is used to open up new dungeons as well as create new effects like experience plus 30 or something like that, right? Not in this game. Instead, it's just a little grid mini game so you can get more treasure, and that's it. Occasionally, occasionally you'll find, like Jova said, some furies, some new furies, and hidden dungeons, and by hidden dungeons I mean a reused area from the main game with tougher enemies, basically. Not an actual dungeon to explore, so don't expect that. So basically, all location shaping is in this game. It's just a mini game where you just get more treasure from it for the most part, basically.
And like I said, I'm guessing that this is the replacement for the goddess and evil god fury removal mechanic or what.
I guess if you can call it that, like.
Jova, this is actually just digging loot rather than
Yeah.
the actual. Remember, the mechanic from the video mentioned from the first game served to collect not necessarily weapons but perks that you could attach to
the dungeons.
That yeah.
But
I'm mainly mentioning this as the comparison to that because back
There you
in
go, Tail.
Advent Dark Force,
See?
that was
Yeah.
the main, because back in Advent Dark Force, that was the main reason to collect Furies, to affect which ending or route you were going to get.
Well, no, to be fair, Jova, no, they were actually also used to, influence the dungeons that you will be able
let me
to go
explain how this thing works. You'll notice in the bottom right corner it shows how many sword fury opportunities I have to stab. Usually when I stab I get treasures. Like eventually this space will get to a point where it gets a little checking mark there, meaning I've already taken everything from that space. As you can see, there's a clear level in the top right corner of the screen. If you do get to 100%, you get to fight the optional hardest boss in the game. I'll show that, don't worry, because I have a save file that I made specifically for it.
On my original point, sorry, were you still going?
Yes, because you'll notice the color of the spaces, like it starts off as transparent, then it becomes slightly orange and slightly redder, and the closest it is to red, the closest it is to being, done. And that's basically it. That's it. That's all the gameplay this game has. Either the combat or this. There's nothing else in this game gameplay-wise. Content-wise, this game is kind of pathetic for a $60 game. Just saying. Go on, Jova.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, like I said, though, this mini game here is essentially the main reason to collect Furies, correct?
Not particularly. You can still get most of the Furies in the game outside of this. There are some Furies you need to get from here, though. Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean, though. I mean, it's like, you need to collect enough Furies to be able to do this whole entire thing.
Oh, no, that you don't know, no. Okay, you see, those little sword attempts that you have on the bottom right corner, those recharge every time you fight a battle. Like, for every battle you do in the game, you gain 2 more attempts at stabbing things. So, just keep battling, and you'll be able to do this as much as possible. It doesn't matter how many fairies you've caught.
It's honestly weird because the dialogue suggested that we needed to use Furies to unearth stuff.
That we do. You'll notice that I'm using different Furies every time there's a chain. That's because every time there's also a chain chance that you can see right there in the bottom right corner, which means I get to keep stabbing more without losing one of the sword icons, right? Yes, thank you, game.
So basically, if you play your cards right, you can more or less clear this board relatively quickly.
Nope.
If you get the chains right.
Not really, because the chain, the longer the chain goes for, the less chance to continuing will come. See, the chain chance decreased from 60 to 48. The longer the chain goes, the harder it is to maintain because the chance goes down. The percentage goes down. See, now it's 36%, meaning now even less of a chance for the chain to continue. There you go.
That's why I said if you play your cards right, which I guess assumes that you're lucky enough to keep the chain going.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Although it looks like you already cleared half of that. Like, are there other levels to that thing? Or?
The more, I'll explain it. I'll explain in a moment. Go ahead. There's.
Give me a second to fall behind again.
Well, we're almost done. Well, it gives me a chance to explain this then. The basic point is this.
Thank you, fuck you, bye. Thank you.
Exactly.
That's it.
You'll notice that it even said that no fury gauge, which means I can't do. So, so as you can see, I have all the swords out back, meaning I have no fury gauge now. But every time I finish a battle, I get 2 more. And you'll notice that every time I do something like location shaping or mission clearing, I gain points. The more points I get, the more I can increase my rank level, which was also a thing in the original game. Basically, Joe, every time I increase my rank level, the area of location shaping increases in size to the point where it will be. So if you want to get 100% on that thing, you need to get S rank of on your so basically keep doing things in the game. And that's
Enlarge yourself now.
so basically the basic point is this: the gameplay of this game is just this: combat and location shaping. There is nothing else in this game gameplay wise, which basically means, Jova, 70% of the playtime in this game is watching cutscenes. Basically. So now don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to necessarily hate on the game for this. I'm the guy who loves MGS4 for fuck's sake. But I'll tell you this: this story ain't no MGS4. I'll tell you that much.
Oh no! I mean, look, like I've said, while so far I've not been as annoyed as I was with the last game's lowest points, I do agree that. Well, okay, to be fair, we're still at the start, so I can't fully judge. And again, to give it credit, I am fine with Fleur and Elle so far. I don't want to say I full on like them yet, but I guess I'm fine with them overall so far. Like I've said, the game seems to have, for the most part, toned down on Advent Dark versus more skeevy stuff.
Yeah.
There, and even when they hinted it, they pretty much give a good reason for the story not to go to those points. So. That in and of itself is an improvement, but again, I guess we've only scratched the surface.
The main issue, like I've said before, is that they didn't replace those bad things that they removed with anything in its place, and as a result, we just kind of get a skeleton form of what the first game was. Yes, all the bad stuff was removed / diminished, but as it was, now it's just mediocre and just kind of bland. I'm not particularly interested in much of anything because it's not particularly grabbing me. Not really. Anyway, everybody, see you for the next part then.
Yeah.
That's